are getting ready to ship all these supplies back to their base. At least it's all in one place. Only problem is, how do we get all these crates back to Nova? I don't think these will all fit on the bike.
Allow me to assist.
I don't think that's going to work.
Perhaps not. Alternatively, there are several mobile hover platforms used for moving equipment and building materials. If you use one of the forklifts to load the crates on, I can program the platforms to fly back to Nova Outpost directly. Would that be preferable?
Yes?
Am I being of assistance?
Yes.
That is pleasing to hear. I will begin interfacing with the platform operating system.
Nora? Nora! Come on, Nora. You've got to talk to me eventually. Oh, don't act like you can't hear me. The medics said the healing is well underway. They said you'll recover all your hearing. Oh, and you'll be pleased to hear that I've been written up, demoted, yelled at 3 times. Probably gonna end up with late graduation from boot camp, if they even let me graduate. Look, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean for things to happen like they did.
You thought a live fire exercise was a good time to screw around.
I thought I had it under control.
You always do. You never think, Jay. You just do something. Screw the consequences.
Look, I've had a lot on my mind lately. What with training and, the breakup.
Oh no, you don't get to blame this on me. You were doing stupid stunts well before I met you.
Not anymore.
I've heard that before.
I mean it this time. I never want to see someone die in front of me. I've never seen someone die right in front of me.
Good morning, Lieutenant Harwood. Congratulations on not dying. Are you feeling well?
Pretty well, all things considered.
Lieutenant Ross has asked to speak with you once you regained consciousness.
Well, no time like the present.
No, those dog tags are EverReach property. End of story.
You think I care at this point? Besides, it's not up to you. It's up to...
Lieutenant Harwood, how are you feeling?
Not great, but not bad either. What's our current status?
The outpost is secure for now, and your supplies helped get everyone fed and rested. Thanks.
Did you get the dog tags?
Yes, right here.
Great. Hand them over and I can start researching these people in my database.
That's a nice euphemism for write-up giant expose for prime time. The second we reconnect with Earth, those names will be all over the news.
Didn't think you cared about a bunch of Eclipse mutineers.
I don't. I care about their families finding out their loved ones are dead from the freaking evening news. Whatever research you can do, it's not worth it.
A promise is a promise. Find out how these mutineers got organized.
Thanks. I won't let you down.
You're making a big mistake. Whatever. We've got something else to worry about. It's about Eclipse's jamming signal. We have an idea of how to counter it, but we need your help. Well, you and Julian.
Me?
You were based at Aurora Outpost, the main communications hub. You were there when it was attacked. You know it better than anyone.
Why is that important?
Because after taking it over, Eclipse used it to boost their jamming signal planet-wide. If we retake it and reconfigure it to our system,
Then we can shut down the jamming and get comms working again.
that'd certainly make connecting with the other outposts a lot easier.
It's not just one outpost. There's a bunch of comms towers in the area. You'd have to hack all of them.
Any info you could give would help. Security, layout, whatever.
Sure, but I have a favor to ask in return.
Of course you do.
I had to escape in a hurry, so I left my main data drive at the outpost. It had all my files, footage, research on the colony. Chances are it'll have something useful. Good. I'll upload the info to your robot.
Good luck, and thanks.
Aurora Outpost consists of one main base and 3 auxiliary communication towers. The towers are our first targets. I will upload a program at each one to override their controls and retune them to counter the jamming signal.
What about the main base? I assume we'll need to retake that too.
Yes, but it has an extremely powerful security perimeter. If we attempt to engage it, we will be shot. A lot. However, Mr. Morgan reported there is a 3-word passcode phrase randomly generated every week. To maximize security, parts of this phrase are automatically sent to authorized users at each tower.
So, hit each tower, hack in, upload your program, and find out the passcode for the base. Let's do it.
Permission to play appropriately rousing musical score.
Maybe on the way home. These soldiers, they're different than the other ones we've engaged.
Yes, they seem to have the same interest in killing you, however. Lieutenant, we have an unexpected problem. There are no exposed ports for me to interface with.
Can we open up one for you?
Yes, but it must be done by a human operator.
Where's Jay when you need him? Okay, what do I need to do?
Access the keypad.
Access granted. Hurry up.
Interfacing with comm systems. Uploading program. Descrambling classified messages. Interface complete.
Nora, do you hear me? Nora, please, come in. Nora, do you copy?
Jay, I read you. Barely. Are you okay?
I think so. I'm just tired.
What's your status?
I've come across an outpost. Another one. They're all deserted. Just empty. But this one, there's some laser burns on the walls and some blood. I don't know what's going on, Nora. None of it makes sense. I'm just so tired. I haven't eaten. I haven't rested. I don't feel like I can handle this.
Look, I know this isn't a walk in the park, but we didn't sign up for one of those either, Technician Rockwell. Now, get it together and get somewhere safe before the mutineers come back and find you napping. That's an order.
Yes, ma'am. And thanks. I'm getting some static. I'll move to a more secure location. I'll try and report later if I can't make it through this interference.
I believe the proper human response to this conversation is, "Are you okay?"
Yes. Doesn't sound like he is, though.
You seem unusually protective of your technician squad mate.
I'm a squad leader. I'm supposed to look after him. Besides, we grew up together back on Earth. We enlisted at the same time. Or rather, I dragged Jay to the EverReach recruiter back in college. That's why I watch out for him. This was my idea. I got him into this.
Well then, let us get him out.